No,
like it.
I have more room now. Now I feel like I'm in a plus size closet.
you have more room for activities.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Killer.
Oh man.
So we'll start
Gun Nation.
Hello, everybody.
Hola for all of my Espanol friends.
Oh boy.
That's right. We're gonna multilingual this thing.
There we go. How are you gentlemen doing this evening?
Great.
All right.
Very well.
I rattle canned one of my APX scripts.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, little Krylon does some wonders.
That's what matters.
That's right.
Could Krylon it up.
Was it say it with Krylon?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
have y'all figured out this new Hangout thing? It says it's going away.
No. I'm sure we'll learn it on the fly.
That's right.
Yeah. And Music was asking about this. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Are y'all all prepared for the 4th of July?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I've got to go to my, in-laws.
There you go.
Yay.
What about you, KS?
Yeah, got some fun plans. We go to a place that's got a vantage point in half the city anyway, north and west, and it's kind of really close to downtown. So you see a lot of the fireworks displays around the city, which is pretty cool. It's a little bit, it's almost sensory overload because you don't really know where to look. Everywhere you look, there are fireworks, big and small, and so it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a good time.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we can actually sit in our backyard and they shoot them at the lake and they just come straight up and we can see them right there. So we've done that, but I don't know what we're going to do, to be honest with you. We might go somewhere and, watch them even closer. Who knows?
What lake is that? Lake Johnson?
No. It's not Big Johnson Lake or anything like that. It's a lake.
It's Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th. If
anybody question for y'all. Have y'all, Music is asking this. She's saying that Fiocchi 115 grain ammo, she's having weak ejection. Now, she didn't say from which gun, so I'm not sure. But have y'all ever had weak ejection? And also, it's considering what she's thinking, or what her term of weak ejection is. Is it clearing? Because some just kind of dribble out. Some, don't sling out 12 feet. I don't know exactly how far she's saying. However, have y'all experienced weak ejection with Fiocchi?
I've never shot Fiocchi, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think, aside from shotgun shells, I don't think I've shot Fiocchi either.
Oh, okay. I've shot a lot of Fiocchi. Matter of fact, I've got another 1,000 rounds down here, and I haven't noticed weak ejection. And sometimes at indoor ranges, I just kind of watch to see if it's pounding the wall, because if it just kind of dribbles out, then I'm like, something's wrong. So, but, I don't like, I had that problem with that VP9 just because it had the 124 grain spring in it, or for that spring, but I haven't noticed it. Now, I don't know. She's saying it's hit in the forehead and chest area. I wonder if it's out of her Glock.
It could be.
Could be an extractor, maybe clean it out.
Yeah.
It could be, some carbon buildup in there or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, because if it's from the Glock and hers is, I don't know if hers is a Gen 4 or Gen 5, but I had problems with my Gen 4, and it would launch it back at my face and stuff like that. So,
I mean, is it a constant problem, or is it like once every 150 rounds?
I don't know. She was just saying with the Fiocchi, but
yeah, she said the SPO1.
Oh, really? Well, I mean, it could have a dirty extractor on it. I mean, you might need to clean it up, or because there's a little hook right there, and I've seen a lot of people have carbon buildup in that little hook when they clean it. They don't scrub that little hook out, because I've gotten carbon in mine before, and I actually take a brush and put it right in that little extractor hook and just scrub it out real good. I mean, I don't know if that's what's going on with hers, but I've seen a ton of buildup in those things.
Yeah.
So Joker's saying that Fiocchi and Cellier below, whatever the hell it's called, are good to go. I've actually been shooting a lot lately with that Cellier and below. Is that how I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it, but I have to tell you, that's been so far my favorite ammunition at the range, is that Cellier and whatever.
Yeah.
Right now they're selling them like $10 a box by me for 25. So I've been jumping on that a lot, and I've been very impressed with the way that ammo handles, and it's not a very dirty ammo, which I like. So I would recommend that one. That's the one I like.
It seems like it's a little hotter than some range ammo out there. It's got a little bit more pop to it.
Yeah. Matter of fact, that's what CZ uses. They use the 124 grain for their testing, and they listed it on my sheets, and it's actually that Stellar and Ballot or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Music, I would clean that extractor real good, the hook, because that's real common for those steel extractors to just get a bunch of crap behind them. I clean them every time I clean the gun.
Mm-hmm.
And there's usually crap in there. Yeah, she's saying it's Czech Republic. So yeah, that's what they use, and that's what they even recommend. So I don't know. I've never seen a hollow point version, like a self-defense version from them, though. I've only seen target ammo or 124 grain. So
all right. So Steve is saying that you're hot, KS, just so you know.
I mean, actually, ironically, it's cooled down this evening because we're supposed to get some rain here pretty soon. So we're out of the oven for a couple of days. So I'm not as hot as I once was.
Oh. Right.
I just put down ill. That's it. Just ill.
He might need some pills for that fit that he's having there.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Cool off that hotness.
So speaking of shooting, have you guys shot anything lately that you've been remarkably impressed with?
Yes.
Are you going to elaborate on that?
Yes. Is there an elaboration with that, sir?
No, I'm just joking. Yeah, actually, I've been super impressed. And I like the Glock 19X. I've talked about it before, but after they tricked it all out for me, I actually even like it better. It's got the little thumb ramps here, the little speed ramps, whatever you want to call them, thumb rest. And, of course, with the little tab here, it fits my hand good. But super, super impressed with this 19X. I'm just really, really enjoying it. And the P10C also. And one more toy that I have, and I will be releasing that on Friday, probably a video. So I don't want to show it yet. But remember I was talking about a theme gun? I don't know if anybody watched it. Well, it's been done for a while, and I actually shot it, and it's awesome.
What is it, a My Little Pony theme?
Yes, it's My Little Pony. No, it's actually, if you remember, you probably don't, but My Buddy.
My Buddy. I remember that.
It's
that, or maybe you can get like Rainbow Bright or something like that.
Yes, or what is it, Tinky Winky? Or
that's before my time.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So yes, still like the SRO.
For me, I shot the Wilson Combat Beretta 92 Centurion with the Vertec grip, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, man. That was a lot of fun. I wish I'd shot a little bit better. It was pretty average performance by me, but the gun was tremendous, and I cannot wait not only to get it back to the range again and just have some fun with it off camera and just kind of plink around, but start in on the Langdon Tactical because I'm curious to know the difference between the two. So I'll tell you what, Beretta 92, I know it's not as exciting as it once was for a lot of people, but they are fantastic guns. They just are.
They're hosses. I mean, they shoot and they run.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for me, obviously the Steyr MF was great. Just a great shooting gun. I think they made some great improvements on this handgun. I'm kind of sad because it's got to go back, but hopefully I'll actually get the chance to own one of these, hopefully by the end of the month. But otherwise, I would say if you're on the fence about it, you might want to consider selling your Glocks and getting this because it is worth it. It's just really a nice gun. But actually, the same day I shot that, I actually took this little baby out, which is the the M9A3. My goodness, I just don't. This gun is amazing. That's all I have to say. It is one of the smoothest shooting handguns that I've actually shot. I put the bigger grip on there, so it just felt great. I mean, it was just a wonderful day shooting this gun, and I would highly recommend an M9A3 to anybody. I mean, it's a little costly, but I think in the end, it's going to justify the cost because it handles really well, it shoots really well, and I just think really for me, even though it was a little bit out of my price comfort level, totally worth it. And I probably should have gotten one of these earlier, but I love this gun. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, and that gun right there, really kind of fills a lot of roles. I mean, you can carry it, great home defense weapon,
Sure.
good target gun. I mean, it's kind of goes all the way around the gamut there.
So I'm curious though, and Coiler brings up a good point. Beretta 92 is a great gun, but rather hefty for a carry piece, and I would say that's exactly right. I mean, just handling this thing, and it's empty right now. I mean, it's pretty chunky. It's pretty heavy. So
I carried my old 92.
Yeah, 17. Are you going to carry that?
I probably will at some point. I don't know if it's going to be a daily carry thing, but it would be pretty sweet to carry this big bastard. And really it's heavy, but it's not overwhelming. You know what I mean? It's not as heavy. Let's say an SP01 tactical. That's a heavy gun. I mean, it's a steel gun. This is aluminum and steel. So you kind of have the best of both worlds. I mean, is it an ideal carry piece? No, but is it something that you get away with? I think you could. But again, it's going to be based on what's your comfort level with carrying something this large. I don't think the grip is actually that long compared to some of the other guns. You can see that my finger's right at the bottom. So, I mean, technically you could conceal it pretty easily, but I'm sure I will carry it. I just don't know when. I'm not in any rush. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, I look at it this way, whatever you feel comfortable. And of course it goes with body frames and all that other stuff. And if you're comfortable carrying that gun, but hell, I carried 1911s forever, and 1911s are heavier than that. Some of the 1911s were hell heavier than Shadow 2s and other stuff. So it's just what you feel comfortable with. Now I carried them in outside waistband holsters with, like a jacket over it or something, but, and I've carried the SP01. So it's whatever you feel comfortable carrying. So,
sorry, go ahead.
Just really quick, my Rossi is asking if it's a threaded because he's in New York also. It is threaded, but it is a non-usable threaded barrel. In other words, this is no longer able to be removed, which makes it legal. Just throwing it out there.
So what do you know the weight on it? Pete was saying 34 ounces.
That I don't know. I haven't even looked it up. I mean, obviously when I do a review, I'll talk about it, but I haven't even, gotten a chance to look over any of the schematics. All I know is that when I saw the gun, I said I had to have it. Because I really didn't care if it weighed 100 pounds, I'd still buy it because it's just such a nice gun.
Yeah, it's now, and that's another question. And I've been asked this before too. I don't know if y'all have. Have you ever carried in a shoulder holster?
No, it is 33 ounces, by the way.
Okay.
Nice.
Unloaded.
I used to carry in a shoulder holster back in the 80s when I was on Miami Vice.
Yeah, I used to do that too, but that was back in the day when I had long hair and
earring and all that.
My white suit, my teal shirt underneath.
You know what? I don't have a problem with shoulder holsters, except that would take a lot of training. It's a cross draw, and it's a cross draw up top. I don't see as much practical application for that anymore, but people still do.
Now, I've personally never carried with one, but a buddy of mine had a shoulder holster, so I put it on and I put the gun in it, and I was like, trying to figure it out, and it was, it's just weird, having the gun there, and I think you could still get around it, but it's just, I don't know, it was just kind of awkward feeling. Didn't feel normal at all, but I guess, it's kind of like if you wear it all the time, you get used to it.
Right. And I think it's also, like you said, though, it's about, you getting comfortable with it. It's like somebody switching from strong side to appendix carry. Like I have tried it. I just can't friggin' do it.
Yeah. I think you should carry one on each shoulder so then you can.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Dennis makes a good point, though. He says, don't know about a shoulder holster. That's tough to say. Since I would have to figure out whether to point at myself or point at a stranger behind me. I mean, that's very true,
Yeah, well, and it goes back to, like we've talked about, I appendix carry, but I have carried it, the 330 or 430, even 530. And it goes back to, do you want to point it at your butt? Do you want to point it at your junk? And when it's in a holster, or the correct kind of holster, I don't really consider it pointing, because if you come around your body, you've got to clear your leg, you've got to clear your thigh, you got to clear your butt, clear people. I mean, there's all kinds of scenarios that you could be put in. It's just keep your damn finger off the trigger no matter where you carry.
So really quick, Dennis is saying he has a safety versus decocker question. Is it true trigger is better on a PO7 with safety installed? Short answer, Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Less moving parts.
Yeah, this is the SPO1. It's got the safety on it. I think it's significantly better now. It's been tuned as well by CZ Custom, but that's one of the things that they do. I mean, they make sure that it's a safety version, and yeah, I think it makes a big difference. And that's it's one of the things with the PO1 Omega versus the regular PO1. I think if the regular PO1 had a better shaped trigger, I think more people would enjoy that, probably more than the Omega.
Oh, I disagree.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I love it. I love it.
I do too. Listen, I love it too, but the regular trigger, if it was the 85 combat trigger with the safety, I think it's a little bit better trigger just by a hair.
Yeah. Well, and it all goes back to trigger preference. I don't like the hooked trigger, but I know that 17 does, and other people do. But I just like a little more. I don't like that high where I have to grip it. I like it a little lower, and the regular trigger works, or the 85 combat works better for me. But that's it's an easy change. It's a $35 change if you just wanted to change the trigger.
Right.
And one thing I shot the PO1 Omega versus my regular PO1, and actually shot my PO1, but I've got way more time behind it. But one thing that happened while I was shooting the Omega is where the decocker is on the side. I actually hit it because it's higher and farther back. I actually hit it with my thumb and put the gun back into double action. So, but it's just probably because I wasn't used to it either.
And it's kind of reversed too, from the old one.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely different. So, yeah, TSO is a great gun.
I agree.
Yeah, it is a fan. And heck, I've got now, and this is, I've given my opinion on my STI versus my TSO. Okay, I prefer the TSO, but since you have one, KS, your STI versus your TSO, what do you think?
To me, it's totally different experience, but I like the TSO better in terms of its overall dimensions, feel, and balance. I think there is just a little bit better for me anyway. And 1.5 to just barely under 2 pound trigger, whatever it is, that's tough to beat. It really is. But the STO or STI rather is it's an incredible gun. In fact, I was talking with a gentleman at Centerfire tonight. I had to drop something off. And he had just bought a Staccato P, and he was very excited about that. Said he just absolutely loved it. And I mean, so they make great guns without question, but the TSO is a whole different animal.
Yeah, and I like the TSO. On the STI frame, it's okay for me. I wish it were bigger, but with the TSO, you can also put, like on the TSO, I run extra. They're built up, but they're built up by Lock, and they actually have a thicker palm swell. So they're a little more beefy, and that fits my hand. It's more contoured towards my hand, I guess, if you want to say. So it's more comfortable in my hand than the STI. But the STI is a great pistol. I'm not knocking it. It's just whatever people prefer. But also that safety catches my finger on the STI also.
Mm-hmm.
So NC Civil War is talking about this pistol right here with these grips. And yes, these are Lock grips, and they will be available tomorrow. And you can get the little color of your safety here, or your magazine ejection. So, but other than what you guys have already shot, the Beretta and stuff like that, do you have anything that you're really wanting to get your hands on to try out? Anything real exciting, or that you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get that pistol?
Well, you guys know I just bought a P225 A1. That is something I definitely want to get my hands on and shoot the damn thing, because it just felt great in my hand. That's why I actually bought it. I had no intentions of going into a gun store today and even looking at Sig Sauers, because I'm not a Sig Sauer person. And then it was sitting there in the used countertop for $5.50. And, I pulled the gun apart, looked at it. The guy who sold it, I guess, buys a lot of guns from them. So they kind of told me the guy who bought it never shot it, so he traded it in. And I pulled it apart. I mean, the thing is just a beauty of a gun. So I jumped all over it. So I'm looking forward to getting that. Reminds me a lot of the PCR, CZ PCR, just a different shape, but very similar in the way the form of the gun looks. But needless to say, it comes standard with the SRT trigger in it. So the short reset on that single action is ridiculous. Has night sights on it. So a lot of cool little features for what I thought was a really good price. So I'm really excited for that. And a little birdie's going to be coming, like literally a Caracol is coming soon.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yes.
Exciting.
Yeah. Now I'm going to disclose this. I actually paid for it. It wasn't sent to me, but I did pay for it, and I'm just waiting to get it. So it better not suck. Let's put it that way. So if it does, I'm going to be pissed. But you know what? I would rather pay for it because then I can give everybody an honest opinion about what I think of the gun. So they seem very confident. The gentleman that I spoke to seemed very, very confident that I'm really going to appreciate this handgun. So we're going to see. We're going to find out.
Awesome, man. Yes, Big Al, that is a great saying. Born by sacrifice, defended by heroes. Happy 4th for all of our servicemen, those that have served, are serving, and will serve. Thank you. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, well said. Well said. So a couple for me. I mean, there's some that are here, like some of the Dan Wessons and that sort of thing that I haven't been able to spend time with yet. So the Vigil CCO will be on the chopping block here soon. However, I'm very excited, and I'll spoil it. I don't really care. The 365 XL is here. And it's in Missouri right now. It's just across the state line. In fact, I could have gone and put the cash on it and handled it tonight, but dealing with rush hour and getting all the way out to Lee Summit was not favorable. So I'll wait till it actually gets onto the Kansas side, but that'll be here at the beginning of next week, probably not Friday. So the beginning of next week. But I'm excited for that. But the one that I'm really looking forward to is the X5, and it should be here in a couple of weeks. The X5 Legion. So I'm pretty excited for that. But a lot of stuff yet to do.
Cool. 17, you see Young Gun's comment.
What does it say?
Wish you the best on your Caracol. Mine was a dud.
Yeah, no, we've had that discussion. So we're going to find out, man. We're going to find out. But according to who is it? Scott is saying, knowing that I paid for it, I'm probably going to say it sucks. So, just to disclose, Scott, I am not a paid shill on YouTube. So if it sucks and I didn't pay for it, I'm going to tell you it sucks. All right. Because again, what do I have to gain or lose? Absolutely zero.
Hey, just so you know, I have to counter that because apparently I'm a shill. I had a comment on the core belt video from Monday. And the guy said he had been a long time subscriber to the channel, whether you like that word or not, quoting him. And he said, "You've become a shill. I don't want to watch your channel. I'm unsubscribing and leaving a thumbs down." And then he put a picture of a thumbs down on it as well. And so I thought about commenting back, but I was like, what's the use? I mean, he's made up his mind, and that's fine. That's his right. He doesn't understand the definition of a shill. The only money that I take for my channel is from YouTube itself, not from people or companies or anything like that. Never been paid for anything. I've been given some products. We all have, right? And you hope that that's not going to influence anything. I don't think it has with us. I mean, we are consumers. And at the end of the day, if we're telling you something is really good, some sort of product, and it turns out to be junk for everybody, we look really bad. We look stupid and we look like jerks. And none of us want to be that person. If something's not going to work, I think we're all going to say that, regardless of whether a company sends it to us or not. And most companies are smart and savvy enough to understand that. They understand that, hey, we're sending it out to these however many people, and they're going to go out to social media and they're going to say whatever they say. Our product better be good. And I think a lot of us are pretty careful about what products we get into. I mean, I get emails 2-3 times a week from companies, and oftentimes from overseas. There are flashlight companies and things like that. And no, not the one that everybody's thinking of, but other ones. And I just thank them. No, thanks. Not interested. I'm not interested in it. So.
Well, it's funny you say that because I've been running a Core Essentials belt for years. I mean, you guys know that I've had those belts forever, and they're great belts. And again, not a lot of people like them or have reviewed them, but I wear them every day. That has become my primary carry belt for probably now going on almost 3 years. And they have never failed me in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I mean, I have one on right now. I mean, I like them. I like them a lot. And I really, I like them. I like Blue Alpha Gear. I still like the $30 gun belt. You know, I wear, those are my 3 kind of go-to belts, you know, as far as dress and wearing, you know, because hell, I carry a gun every day. So I like them. I like those 3 a lot.
1776 or Shill. That's the new channel name, man. How did you know? Damn you.
Yeah, it's, you know, I think just because you receive something in the mail, I mean, I've given bad reviews. Matter of fact, I've got a bag of shit over here that is junk, and I've done reviews on some of it. Some of it I haven't, because I'm not even going to waste my time or your time, because I won't use it, and I'm not even going to give it away because it's junk, and I don't want someone else to use it and have an incident with it and then say, oh, well, Big Johnson gave it to me. You know, I don't want anything associated with that. And then I've had people go, well, if it's bad stuff, why don't you do reviews? You know, and I'm like, man, some of it's really bad. Matter of fact, there's one that was sent to me, and they said, hey, we want you to test this. And I said, okay, you know, so they sent it to me. I put the gun in it, and when it's on the belt, I mean, it's like I'm pulling my pants all the way up to my neck to try to get the gun out of it. And I'm like, holy shit, you didn't test this thing? I mean, and you're sending it to a reviewer for a review? So I sent him an email back, and I'm like, I can't even get the damn gun out of it.
But I have one question for you, though.
Yeah.
Does it make you walk as silent as a Navy SEAL?
No, that thing's a piece of shit too. That's the one I got, and they sent it out to me a long time ago, and I was like laughing while I was doing the review. I was like, this is such a piece of shit.
That's funny.
And, you know, and the bad thing is, and the bad thing is you have newer people that are carrying and stuff like that, and they get a holster and they're like, oh, this thing's awesome. You know, I really like it. But they kind of don't know what to look for, because that might be the only holster they've tried, or maybe just a few. And they think it's great because they don't know any better. But once they get a really good holster, then it's like, holy crap. Yeah, I was carrying a piece of crap for this long.
Right.
So
I think also what a lot of times people have to understand is that when you're reviewing something for a company, you know, you could go out and you could say it's a big pile of trash, you know, but you also want to give that company an opportunity, at least I do, to see if there's a way to fix whatever is the issue. Because then that also can go into that video about their customer service and their, you know, eagerness to try to resolve problems. You know, like I got to do a video on the MagGuts stuff, because I got a couple of these for my Shield. And, you know, one of them right off the bat, no problems. The short one, +1, you know, what is it, +1 or whatever it is, works great, no problem. And then I got a +2, worked great, and the extended magazine. Bought another magazine, and then they sent me another one for that one, and I could not get 10 rounds into it. I got 8 rounds. 9 was like, it was like giving birth, trying to fit 9. Not that I know, but I can only imagine it was like trying to give birth to popping that 9th round in the damn thing. And I could not figure out what I was doing wrong. So I contacted them. They were great. They've been awesome, actually, by the way. So what it was actually, I just couldn't compress the spring down enough. So I actually went out, spent some money, got one of these damn mag loaders, and I was able to compress it enough. And now it works like a charm, no problem. 10 rounds goes into it. So, you know, to me, it was kind of a, you know, they were very, very quick to try to figure out what it was. They wanted me to send it back to see if there was something wrong with the spring. And then I emailed them saying, by the way, you know, I got it to work. Here's what happened and why. So I'm going to be doing a review on that. But I did shoot that as well. I'll tell you guys, if you have a Shield, you really need to pick up the MagGuts, because it makes a difference. You know, a lot of people always talk about the capacity issues between like that and, let's say, the Glock 43X or the 48. All you got to do is drop those MagGuts in. Now you have 10 rounds, and it only adds just a little bit more to the grip. Nothing that, in my opinion, is going to make it non-carryable, non-serviceable. It is great, and to me, that's what makes the Shield 4-inch even better, and even the regular Shields, man. It just makes it a better gun to have that more capacity. So I highly recommend it.
Yeah,
Nice.
And that was paid by MagGuts for me to say that. So just let everybody know. Yeah,
and I haven't personally tried the MagGuts. I like the extensions to where it gives me a little more finger area. I'm not saying MagGuts are bad. I've just never personally tried them, but I like the X-Tac tactical, where it gives you a little more length. That's just for me, but you know, I can understand why someone else, if they can carry that grip, you know, would not want that. But let's see here.
I will tell you, a couple of people have made comments about this. The Maglula, Uplula, or whatever it is, those things are fantastic. I'll tell you what, I've been using one for about as long as I've had the channel. I decided to try one to see if it would make it speed up the time at the range a little bit more efficient. Oh, it's been magical. I mean, it's just the thing's a little machine. Now, there are some mags that don't work very well in it. And actually, some Glock mags are a little bit on the sticky side when you get up to the very top. But otherwise, the thing is just awesome.
Yeah, STI mags, they'll stick a little bit too. But I have 3 of them, and I love them. I've got them in different range bags and one in the truck. I love those things. Well, hey, Josh, thank you very much. He donated $5, and he said, people abuse the word shill. If they woke up and all the reviews on products disappeared, they realize how stupid they were to call everyone shills.
Well, that's the thing. That's exactly right. How many of you guys go out to YouTube to find out about a product? You hear something or somebody mentions it and you want to learn more. You want to get perspective. You want to see it up close. You want to, whatever it is, you want to smell the iPad and see if you can get to know it a little bit better. That's part of the deal. That's part of the thing. And for 2A community, more than most, it's extremely important to have Instagram, to have YouTube and Facebook and all those things, because we don't advertise on TV and in mainstream magazines and all of that. We have YouTube to go to. And so when you, and when I dropped that core belt, I went to the range that afternoon to shoot the Beretta. And after an hour, I took a look at the stats just to see how it was doing. And there were 6 thumbs down immediately. And it's unfortunate that people have started to really come down hard on product reviews and started calling people shills and that sort of thing, when I don't think there's an understanding of what it really means. If people stopped doing product reviews altogether, none of us would know what gear is any good anymore.
But I also think that there's something that people bring up is when you're doing the review, you have to be objective of it. You can't. Like, I don't know. I guess the way I feel about it is that if you think this product is great, wonderful. But I mean, to always say every single thing you have is great, I think that loses some of the objectiveness behind what you're doing. And I think that's where people kind of get irritated. Like, at what point, are you going to say something negative or something that may not be a positive trait of whatever it is that you're doing? So I think sometimes that plays a role in it. I mean, there's nothing perfect. There's nothing perfect out there. And I think you just have to be able to say it. It doesn't mean you bash the product, but at the same time, I think you should say if there's something you don't like about it. I think you're doing a disservice if you don't say it.
Absolutely true. I think that's 100% accurate. And something that somebody said to me last night or 2 nights ago, I don't remember. In fact, I think it was Harry. He said, people, generally speaking, viewers, you and I, we're all viewers, right? Generally speaking, viewers are smart and they pick up pretty quickly if somebody isn't being transparent about something. That you pick up on that after a while, and you start to realize, I don't think that person is being genuine about this. It might be one thing to still see the product up close, and that's fine, but then the words become a little bit meaningless at that point. Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. And one thing that kind of bugs, or it really does bug me, is when people have, something gets sent in or whatever, or, and if they've never had it before, like if it's like, for instance, lock grips, I know what I'm going to get. I like them, I'm very familiar with them. However, if it's like a new something that I've never opened, and you open up the box and you're like, and it's something that really needs to be tested, and you open up the box and you're like, oh my God, you got to buy this. This is awesome. It's just, it's the best thing since sliced bread. And you haven't tested it. The damn thing could blow up in your hand. It could fall apart the day you wear it, or whatever it might be. That is not, I think you could like introduce it and say, hey, got this in, I'm going to be testing it, or throw a picture up on Instagram and say, hey, testing begins, or something like that. And then give updates or whatever you want to do. But I just don't, like even gun reviews. I've seen people open up boxes and go, oh my God, this is the greatest gun in the world, but they haven't fired one bullet through it. They don't know if it doesn't like certain ammo. They don't know. And I just think that needs to be a little smoothed out.
Yeah. So I just want to say one thing about the Uplula thing that we're talking about. So the reason why I bought this was because, because I had to get this gun and it only has 10 round magazines. The springs were so damn tight in there that I couldn't get 10 rounds in with my thumbs. And at that point, I'm like, screw it. So I went out into the gun shop, grabbed one off the shelf and said, fuck it, I'm just going to buy it. And then, my God, this thing made a huge difference for my life.
Yeah, it's a thumb saver, man. And that's people that, and what's funny is people, like when you go to competitions, you'll see guys sitting there just loading mags with their thumbs and stuff. And what's funny, I'll be over there using my Mag Lula, and a couple other people will be, and they're like, oh, what are you using that piece of shit for? You're not a real shooter. And it's like, really, dude? And then they're joking around. I mean, I've been joked on, they're just busting balls, but I'm just like, man, why not use something easier? I mean, not, and some of those springs that they use are super smooth. I mean, but I'm just like, man, use something easier. Why make it tough on your thumb? Or, hell, they're $35 or whatever.
Yeah, I don't care. They were totally worth it.
And I've never broken one. And I've had one I had one when they first came out, and it still works great.
You can even work your forearms with this thing. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They definitely work, though. And I agree with some of I've gotten some guns before where the mags were super tight, where you just couldn't get that last one in. And man, those little things, you can never have an issue with them.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Okay, we got a question. P10C or PPQ M2?
And that's the P10C Optics Ready.
Yep. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Optics Ready.
Oh, I don't know. I don't have one. I just have the P10. Well, I just had a P10 and I just had a PPQ. So I didn't have.
Well, I mean, that gives you a pretty good, standard of the guns too, just because.
Well, the first thing everybody's going to say is that the bore axis on a PPQ is too high, so it makes it more snappy. And the P10 sits a lot lower in your hand. So I think that's where the advantage is. But I mean, the PPQ is 100% reliable and I love it. I still have it, but I do not have a P10.
What do you think, Jess?
I liked them both. I definitely like the P10 better. I just shoot it better at the end of the day. Now, the ergonomics on the PPQ are pretty darn fantastic. I was shocked at how good they were, when I first picked one up and held on to it for quite some time. But the P10 I would take.
Yeah, I've had both. Not the Optic. I have the Optic Ready F and now the C, but I think that the P10C for me, or the P10, is better than the PPQ. Matter of fact, I don't have my PPQ anymore. I would it is a little, front snappy, you could say. And I know that I've Gorilla Gripped it and the whole works. And I'm not saying it's a bad gun. It's actually a really nice gun. I just shoot the P10 better.
I have noticed that with the P10, and I'm going to go out and shoot this thing again because I actually put on the large backstrap on this gun. And what I did notice was that even with the medium and the small, while it felt very thin grip-wise, the actual large backstrap on this actually, I think, works better on this particular gun to control a lot of that recoil. Again, I don't know. I'm going to shoot it again and find out if that's true, but it just feels like, for me, with the way the hand fits on this gun, it just seems like it's going to be able to kind of soak up more of that recoil. But, I can't sell this gun. I mean, this gun I've had for a long time. I have the Apex trigger on this gun, and it is just ridiculous. I mean, to sell this gun would be totally stupid because the trigger alone on this gun, it is the dumbest trigger I've ever shot. I mean, it's just friggin' light as hell. Mm-hmm. It's just perfect. The gun, in my opinion, is perfect the way it is. So this is going to be a keeper forever.
Yeah. Yeah, the Apex really does make a difference on the PPQ, and the PPQ has a great trigger, but
yep,
I definitely prefer the flatter trigger, and I think it's crisper, shorter reset. Even than the stock PPQ.
Yeah, I would say that's largely the same with the M&P 2.0. Mm-hmm. Same deal.
Yeah, M&Ps are great if they have Apex in them.
Ooh, so FOVES says, follow-up, would you guys say under $500, the best stock triggers besides the VP9 PPQ are the P10C and Canik Elite, and probably the best all-around shooters?
For under $5, yes.
Yeah.
Although I would not get a Canik Elite.
Yeah, I would agree with both of those, but I wouldn't have another Canik. Me personally.
I would agree with those, and I would definitely have another Canik. I don't have a problem with that at all. I actually had the Combat Elite.
Yeah, but that's not under $500.
Well, I understand, but I'm just Canik in general. The Combat Elite was a fantastic firearm, but the Elite SF was fantastic as well, and that was definitely under $500. I think they're good guns. Their triggers, I think, are among the very best out of the box.
Yeah.
So just really, go ahead.
Marcus saying the Bursa, the BP9CC, and I've played with that Bursa trigger, and it's actually pretty damn nice. The one he's talking about, it's actually a nice trigger.
So just really quick, Kathleen is saying that internals on the PPQ are too complicated. I don't know why you'd say that. I don't find that true at all. I mean, it's a couple of pins. I don't know. I don't know, like, what makes you think that is more complicated than any other handgun. I would say the most difficult part of disassembling this gun is just removing the slide release. This was a pain in the ass to get this pin out. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. There's really nothing else. I mean, you got a pin here, pin there, and a pin in the back. And then you just have to remove this right here, which is the biggest problem. Other than that, it's fairly straightforward from there.
To say music, take apart your SP01, you'll hate that thing. It's like a damn jigsaw puzzle. But yeah,
the slide release.
Yeah, and I was going to say, you know, Glocks, of course, are super stupid easy to take apart. You know, a lot of people compare, you know, the ease of takedown with a Glock compared to other pistols. So, you know, you really don't have to do anything forcible to a Glock. You just pop it down and you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. TP9 SFX trigger is good as any, period. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice trigger.
Yeah, I think they're very good triggers.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they're bad triggers. I just think, you know, I think it's got other issues, but.
Yeah, well, you had some issues with yours. I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, and, you know, that kind of goes back to, you know, and I've had people say, you know, oh, this particular gun is the best in the world. What do you think about it? You know, and especially if I had a problem with it or something, you know, once you have a problem with the gun, or if you have a problem with the gun, are you kind of done with that gun, in your opinion?
I mean, I guess it depends on the level of the problem, you know? I mean, if it's a simple fix, no. I mean, the P10 is a great example for me because I had several problems with a few of them, and I still wound up getting them. But the Canik was such a different, weird experience as a whole, and maybe not even the gun, but just the company and dealing with them. Century Arms was just so horrible that I was like, I will never, ever, ever buy any of those shit guns again, ever.
Yeah, and customer service can make or break a company for sure. What do you think, KS?
I haven't had a negative experience enough with a company to sway me one way or the other at all. However, I was thinking, and I have not watched the video yet, but I understand that Mac had another SIG that had more issues, or at least that's what a couple people were saying last night. I sort of thought to myself, man, so when are you just going to stop, dude?
Yeah.
Walk away. But, you know, to each his own, I suppose.
But let me ask you this. Would you consider your experience with Hudson a good one?
No, it was not a good one. But you know, it's kind of one of those, that's a small company. I mean, it's a good example, for sure, but, it was a small company and it was sort of a blip on the radar. I was mostly upset because I really wanted that Hudson to work and to be awesome and to still be here. Because I would still have that gun without question. But the gun itself just didn't work and the support wasn't there. And now we see why. I mean, there was a much bigger issue going on behind the scenes, and I'm just kind of glad I got out of it when I did.
Yeah. You know, the gun for me, and what's funny is I didn't personally own this particular gun. Now I've had guns that have had issues, and I had a Smith & Wesson M&P 9 full size that had issues, and they replaced the barrel because the feed ramp cracked. But we found out they kind of had an in-house recall on it, so to say. But the thing that just really bugs me, and it was not my pistol, but it was brought down for me to do a review on it, and he was personally going to carry that. And it's when Harry had brought down the 365, you know, and this was the first gen one. And I'm literally at the range, we're filming it, I load it up, rack it, and I go to pull the trigger and it goes click. And I'm like, what the hell? I rack it, click, rack it. And I'm looking at and it's not even hitting the primer. And I'm like, the freaking firing pin broke. So it broke in my hand, or, you know, prior, maybe with the dry fire, but I never even got to shoot the thing. And he actually brought it down. He brought multiple pistols, but he had planned on carrying that pistol. And I'm like, man, if you had that in your holster and went to draw it on a bad guy and it went click, that's not good. And I know that they've done some changes, but it really left a bad taste in my mouth over that. And, I just never cared to get one. The XL, maybe they've done some different things. I might try it, who knows, but that really, really irritated it for me on that one. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think a lot of people got a little bit burned by that. Although, that's one of those guns that even though there was so much media attention on issues of various types, and it wasn't just one issue, it was multiple issues over a year, I'd say probably. Maybe longer. The diehardness, the people sticking with them and everything. It's been fascinating to watch that. And I don't think anybody's right or wrong or anything. I mean, I had a good experience with mine. But it's been a fascinating social media firearms industry icon, I guess, if nothing else, just to see how all of that has unfolded.
Yeah. And, remember the drop safe deal with the 320s and all that? I mean, there's just been some weird stuff going on with some of those. And I'm just like, and I had the 320 and I loved it. I never had any issues with it, but, who knows? What do you guys think of the Ruger PC 9mm carbine?
I hear nothing but good things about them. I have not tried one, but and I probably won't, or at least one is not on the radar. But I do kind of like that weird looking tactical one that they just came out with. I think it's kind of looking.
Yeah, there's been some companies that are actually doing, some front parts to it, or rails and all that other great stuff. I don't know. I mean, like for me, it's perfect because it's legal right off the shelf, but at the same time, like, I know tomorrow they're having a 4th of July sale, so they're looking at selling them for like $450 by me, which I think is still pretty high. I just don't know. I don't know if it's going to be something that I would consider buying. I'm actually thinking about maybe doing one where I build one and make it New York compliant, which all I would have to do is make the mag unreleasable, so to speak. But I could still have the telescoping stock, and I could still have the pistol grip. I just would not have a removable magazine. But I don't know. I'm still on the fence about PCCs kind of guns,
Yeah.
I think they're a lot of fun. I mean, I've seen the Ruger, and I like the tactical looking one. It kind of looks like a Walking Dead gun. I think that's kind of cool. I don't think there's anything wrong with them. I've never personally shot one. I've just kind of held it and played with it. And I think if that's what someone could get or get into, I think it's a great host if you have the Security 9, because the mags are compatible, or you can run Glock mags in it. I say, hey, if that's what you want, it's definitely price. It's a nice price to get into one. Mm-hmm. And I say, do it. I mean, nothing wrong with it. PCCs are fun as hell. I mean, I love mine. It will eat ammo. You will go through a crap load of ammo. So
that's probably why I don't want to buy one.
Yeah. I mean, you put 33 round mags in them, and I'm telling you, it's just, I mean, you're done and throwing another mag in it. It's like,
true. Very true.
Yeah, they are fun. There was a question. If you had, it was earlier, but I'm trying to sum it up, but it was like, if you had $600 to spend, what pistol would you buy? No Glock. I think they said no Glocks, but what pistol would you buy under the $600 mark?
Man, under $600.
And I can't remember if they said Striker Fire. Let me try to find it here.
Well, it says he's asking, what are each of your guys' best 3 recommendations for Striker Fire under 600 besides Glock? Okay. So Striker Fire at under 6. Well, I already know what I'd get.
Okay.
I'd get 2 of them. I'd get an M&P 2.0 because you can get 2 of them for that price, just about under $600. I mean, right now they're going for $350.
Yeah. What about you, Kaz?
That would definitely be one. I like the 3.6 has been very impressive, but I like the 4-inch as well. So the M&P P10C is a great option for that price as well. Those would probably be my two top choices. A lot of the other ones that I really like kind of cross that $600 mark.
Yeah, I bet.
Right. You could do a 320, a regular 320 for under
600. You know.
Yeah. So I mean, there are definitely some different options, but I would say, yeah, the M&P, they're great guns. They are great guns. And for the money, for what you pay, you could do some modifications to them to really make them your own. You can get better sights or a better trigger, that sort of thing. It still leaves room up to that $600 mark. If that's your budget, you've got some wiggle room to move around.
Which is why no Steyr, Kathleen, just so you know. It's, Steyr's mid 500s, but with an M&P, you can actually make it even better, especially with that Apex trigger.
Mine would be CZ P10C, CZ P10F, because if you buy them right, you could buy them and maybe get another mag or two. And, and if you get the optic ready, then you could save up and get an optic if you want. And, the F would be a great home defense pistol. The C would too. But those would be my choices. And the M&P is a great pistol too. And I have one. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them at all. It would have to have an Apex trigger.
Somebody did mention the APX. That's another gun that, right now, Beretta is giving $100 rebate on any of the APXs till July 31st. So, like this is Centurion. I saw a few of them in the 300 mark right now on Gunbroker, mid to upper 300s. So you figure you buy one now, you send in the rebate, and within 3 weeks, you get $100 back. So now you're buying basically a $200+ gun, which I've been thinking about. I'm not gonna lie, because when I bought this, I got $75 back. Now it's $100. So I mean, that's even better.
Yeah, and like Scott brought it up. He's saying Pepper Gun Shop had the P10F for $369. I've seen P10F, P10Cs. Now these are the non-optic ready. I've seen them going for crazy prices, and then hell, you could mill it for $120. So, and you're still way under the $600 mark. So, but it's whatever. And yes, I none of us said yeet cannon because I wouldn't have a freaking yeet cannon.
No. However, Guns, Guitars, and Gambling said, why not a Glock? That was actually part of the stipulation. You couldn't say it because that would have been one of my choices. You can certainly get a Glock for under $600. The downside to that is, and not everybody agrees with this, I know, but for me, I would want to do some work with it. Now, at a very minimum, at very least, I'd want to change the sights out.
Yeah.
But I'd also want to do some trigger work. Now you can do the 25-cent trigger job. That's as long as you've got some polish and you know how to do it, that sort of thing. That's not a big deal. But I would want a different connector. Even if I had to stick with the stock trigger, I would at least want a different connector in there.
Yeah. Now, Foes is asking or saying that he was surprised that nobody mentioned the PPQ or a VP9. I'm not a VP9 fan, and I think the PPQ is just a different type of gun. I don't know if that's a gun you'd want to start with, and I've said that a million times. Just because the trigger is a weird. It's not a weird trigger, meaning it's a bad trigger. It's just a trigger that you have to get used to. It's a very springy reset. And it's a very light trigger. It's 100% pre-cocked striker. So, I mean, there's a lot of things in there that you really need to spend time with. I've always said it's not a gun that I would recommend as a first gun. That's something you get later on. Yeah.
And, Josh is asking what VP9 for $450.
Well, because Foves said no PPQ or VP9, even though both are around $450. I will tell you, if you find a VP9 for $450, jump on it. That's a rare price. They're usually, at least locally, I'm not talking online because I don't really shop online very much, but locally they're $650 most of the time. Now, oftentimes they'll have night sights on them, which helps, but they're not cheap guns.
Yeah, no, I've seen them for $469 without night sights, and it was online. But yeah, I mean, the VP9 is a good gun. I actually prefer the trigger being a little more forward. That's just mine over the PPQ. But when you hold a VP9, I just think it needs a longer grip for the size of the gun. That's just me personally. But they're good guns. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them if that's the gun you like or the PPQ. Hell, shoot it.
Dennis Jones, my VP9 was free. Yeah. Saying, sorry. Go ahead, Seth.
this. Knowing that you guys have shot multiple different, handguns, manufacturers, whatever, and Glock is considered probably still the big grandpa of all striker fired polymer guns and so on and so forth. Is there any manufacturer of polymer striker guns right now that you would honestly replace Glock for, or Glock with? You know what I mean? Any of them. Could be, Berettas, it could be CZs, it could be Walthers, M&Ps. Is there anything out there that you would say you would absolutely probably stop carrying Glocks and buying Glocks and use that as sort of its replacement gun? And hello, Sandpaper Pistol Grips. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Hey, Sandpaper. For me, no. I have not found something that is replaced. I've found something that is equally good or better in a lot of cases. I would be the first to admit that, but no, there are some things about Glocks that I really like. First, I love to tinker. I've got a box of spare parts and all the tools and all that kind of stuff. And periodically I get bored and I take a couple of them down, kind of play around with some of the different parts, mix and match, and see if I can improve things a little bit. And that to me is part of the enjoyment of a Glock, and the idea that you can make it your own. You can make it do exactly what you want it to do with the right skill, the right tools, and the right parts. So there's something to that to me. And I have yet to find one that didn't work, with the exception of a 42. In the very beginning, the 42s had some issues with self-defense rounds. So that was kind of an issue there, but with hollow points, they were fine. And that's what I would have ran with it anyway. So, but no, I have not found that. And I will tell you, 17, I've looked for that multiple times, but I haven't found it yet.
Well, I think you'll know my answer. I found them a long time ago with the P10. I mean, and don't get me wrong. I mean, Glocks definitely are great guns. They're proven. They definitely serve a role. But the P10, I mean, if you're looking straight out of the box, just like KS said, you can tinker with it and things like that. But, for example, if you buy a CZ P10F or the new C with the optic ready, the sights on it are really nice. The triggers are really nice. You don't have to change anything on that. It comes with a back strap, so it'll fit your hand. Comes with metal mags. There's a lot of benefits out of the box to it. Now, can you put an HB trigger in it? Yeah, you can do other stuff to it. You can change. They do have a few side offerings, but I think that that's given someone a different option right out of the box. And you could say VP9 and stuff like that, but I just don't know if they have all the coverage that you might want. They do, but then you're getting into really, really high prices with Walther.
Right. And I think one other thing that's important to me, and I wouldn't do this with any other gun, but with a Glock, if I purchased a Glock, I would have no problem taking it out of the box and running with it. That I would not, based upon experience and a lot of years. I mean, pretty close to 20 years of experience with Glock, and way more than tens of thousands of rounds through Glocks over that time. I mean, they've been carry guns, they've been home defense guns. I've competed with them, and I've yet to have a bad experience. Again, there are better guns out there, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But for what they are, they do what they need to do. And the other thing is, if you think about like the 26, for example, it's a subcompact, and I think it's kind of the quintessential subcompact because it's exceptionally small for a subcompact. I mean, it is a deep concealment subcompact, so you still get that double stack, 10 rounds, 12 rounds, whatever you want in it, and it's relatively shootable all day. Now, it can be a little bit snappy depending on what you put in there, but Glocks are notoriously small in their category compared to other firearms. And if you're thinking of carrying and just transportation, that can be a big deal for a lot of people. And again, they're not the best by any stretch. I mean, it's kind of one of those, if you're into video games, you get a character that's really good at this or good at this or good at this. And Glock is kind of the not very good at anything, but decent enough at everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, I think, like myself trying to shoot a 26, it's not fun. I can do it, but that's not the gun that I would gravitate towards. But like you're saying, I mean, you can run a 33 round mag in it. There's a lot of things you can do with that gun. But on the P10S, you can put the full size mag, but I haven't seen a 33 round mag for a CZ yet. I'm not saying that they don't have it. I just personally haven't seen it.
I mean, I think in regards to the Glock question, I think it's hard to replace a Glock, but honestly, I'm finding myself moving away from Glock again. It's like I move away and then I get roped back into them.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I think 2 viable replacements, maybe 3 actually. Obviously, the M&P I think just hit it on the head. I think overall it's a really well built gun. I think it's as easy to work on. Maybe not as easy, but almost as easy as a Glock in regards to triggers and everything else. Great aftermarket support, you name it. I think the APX series from Beretta, fantastic guns, whether it's full size, the compacts and Centurion, the carry, maybe not so much. But I think overall the APX has done Beretta has done a very good job with that whole line of guns. And I think they're on par with reliability, with build. I mean, the build might be a little bit better. There are some stupid quirks about it with, the taking out the modular system and all that other shit. But I think overall it's a really nice handgun, well built. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't say the Steyr. I mean, I think the Steyrs, if they come out with this MFA2 and then it has all the adjustability they're talking about, frame size, barrel swaps, you name it, I just think that this gun to me, it would be the replacement overall. I mean, it's just well built. It shoots great ergonomically. I'm telling you guys, once you get your hands on this new one, you're going to say, wow, I did not think you could do better. And they did better on this grip than I could even have imagined. And, it's not because they sent it to me. I mean, like I said, if it was a turd, I'd tell you, but the Steyr MFA2 is a huge, huge improvement on the old ones. And to me, that says a lot.
It has one Achilles heel in my mind. I
know what you're going to
say. I think everything you said is dead on, and all the modularity. And if they do all those things, I mean, I'm on board. I like Steyrs too. It's the sights. I love the trapezoidal sights. I think they're brilliant. I am in love with them. It's one of my favorite shooting experiences. The only problem is they don't have some sort of, I don't care about night sights so much, just high def. That's actually factory done, good quality, bright orange, bright yellow, bright purple. I don't care. I mean, something that's higher def call out. To me, if they did that potentially would send it over the edge.
Yeah.
So my thing with that is there is a company that's working on sights very similar to trapezoidal sights. So we're going to see if that ever comes to fruition, because if it does, like you said, the trapezoidal sights, man, if people would just go to that and start marketing even tritium or, like you said, something high visibility, they're the best sights out there. They're so easy to use. And once you get it down, it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's such a good sight picture.
I agree.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and get ready to close it out. Y'all have any final thoughts?
Okay, let's go ahead.
Well, I just want to say everybody have a very happy and very safe 4th. Thank you guys as always for hanging out with us on your Wednesday nights. We really appreciate that. You guys mean the world to us. And stay safe, shoot straight, all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time.
All right.
Same thing, thanks everybody for joining us as always. It's always a fun time on Wednesday nights to talk guns. Just really quick, everybody wish us good luck. My son is going up to Saratoga this weekend, another lacrosse tournament, and they're actually playing the Iroquois developmental national team in one of their games. So that's going to be, if you guys know anything about lacrosse, the Iroquois team is just ridiculously good. So they're playing in AA division, which is the highest division. So I'm going to pray for my son because this is going to be quite a challenge for them. But I believe in them. I think they can do it. Although, it's going to be awesome. So that's it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I definitely want to tell everyone happy 4th of July. Independence Day is a big deal. And we appreciate y'all so much for coming on and checking us out. And want to go ahead and give a couple of shout outs. Lock Grips is going to be having a sale for 20% off their grips. Starts tomorrow, goes through the 7th. I'll be putting a code out that'll save you some money. And then also Harry's got a deal on holsters. 4th of July is a big deal. If y'all want to load up on a bunch of stuff, grab it up. So, but we appreciate all of y'all for being on. Appreciate these two guys, and have a blessed 4th of July. Y'all stay safe and eat lots of food and go shoot some guns.
That's right.
You got it.
Thank y'all very much.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great night.
Bye.